America's national parks often need no introduction. Yosemite, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon, to name just a few. But their aquatic equivalent, a national marine sanctuary, may not be so well known. This growing network of federally protected marine environments from the Florida Keys to the Olympic coast receives resources for preserving, restoring, and celebrating America's unique underwater worlds. Now, a proposed marine sanctuary 6 times the size of Yosemite could make history as the first to be initiated by a tribal group. Elise Preston has the story.
Halfway between the tech capital of the world and the Hollywood Hills is this stretch of pristine California coastline, where nature still reigns, always in motion. The waves, the weather, and sea life together show off a breathtaking display.
I feel like it's a magical place. Every time I look at the ocean, I'm like, is there going to be a dolphin or a whale? And
Violet Sage Walker's life's work is conserving her ancestral territory. She's head of the Northern Chumash Tribal Council.
And as Indigenous people, we consider ourselves to be stewards of these waters.
For thousands of years, thriving Chumash villages once dotted the central California coastline. But European invasions sparked death and displacement, dramatically dwindling Chumash populations.
What were the Chumash like thousands of years ago right along this coastline?
Living in harmony with nature, living with the land, surviving with the elements of the ocean and the land.
Steve Villa is captain of the Tomo Crossing, an annual 24-mile paddle to the Channel Islands to celebrate their origin story on their ancestral island.
We get to feel what they felt. We get to experience what they did as they crossed the channel. The channel was always crossed for commerce, for trade, but also for ceremony.
Coexisting among the complex food web comprised of coral, fish, seals, sharks, and dolphins allow the Chumash to thrive.
We're in a place today that's the first of its kind, and that's because conservation efforts are being led by tribal people.
The Chumash tribes, in partnership with the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration, are months away from clinching a federal designation to protect, restore, and celebrate the marine environment that has defined their ancestry.
For the Chumash people, they have been a bit overlooked unfairly for a long time now. And we are here at NOAA to say, let's work in partnership and change that.
Mike Murray, a NOAA representative, is working on the final push to formalize the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. Once granted, this would be the first proposed by an Indigenous group.
Let's have this protected area, and every coastal attraction or visitor center or sign that one might encounter, make it clear that this is Chumash territory.
The sanctuary would protect 150 miles of coastline and 5,600 square miles of Pacific Ocean. The exact boundary has yet to be determined, but in essence, it would connect 2 existing sanctuaries, creating a continuous stretch of protected ocean.
I think makes a lot of sense because whales migrate through all of those spaces. Kelp forest can be found the full length. Ships ply through all 3 marine sanctuary areas. So I think it's going to give us a chance to manage more comprehensively in a way that matches up with the way the ecosystem truly exists.
While the long-held dream of a sanctuary is now within grasp, that light at the end of the tunnel did not always shine. Threats of industrialization have loomed over this treasured ecosystem.
We saw the first major offshore oil spill back in 1969 here in the Santa Barbara Channel, and that's when our relatives became environmental activists.
But what does it feel like when you say it's taken this long? You are the 3rd generation. You've been fighting for this for decades.
Well, and it's exhausting all over the world. Tribal people are the first people that are affected by climate change. They're the first people affected by industrialization and by pollution. And we're the ones that are saying, like, let's protect this, let's save this. But it shouldn't be so hard and it shouldn't take so long to conserve what's beautiful.
Slo Gutierrez has been sounding alarms since the 1970s, when a proposed massive liquefied natural gas terminal threatened Point Conception, a sacred Chumash site.
We got a call from somebody downtown that they were bulldozers digging out on private land where our burials and stuff are.
For 14 months, Gutierrez took part in an indigenous occupation.
We were out there to die for that land, to protect our ancestors. Without point conceptions, our people wouldn't pass through the western gate, go into what you call heaven. And that's a no-no.
Their occupation succeeded, helping derail what they see as the desecration of sacred land.
And through all the things that we have faced, it says more about our people that we're still here and we're still fighting for our place.
In 2015, Fred Collins, Walker's late father, filed a marine sanctuary proposal to NOAA, hoping to put a cap on endless environmental threats.
When my dad passed away, he's like, you need to finish it. And also that it was the most important thing he had ever did in his life.
After sitting idle for years, the proposal was brought to life under President Biden, who has prioritized environmental conservation and indigenous leadership.
Respect for indigenous knowledge and tribal consultations as a key part of the federal agency decision-making.
While many of the details have yet to be sorted out, the sanctuary is on track to take effect next year.
What would a sanctuary do when it comes to preserving your history, your culture with the world?
In order to preserve something, in order to protect something, people have to love it. And that is like giving us the opportunity, the world stage, to share our stories and our history and why this place should be protected and why people should love it.
From this view, the ocean feels endless. Walker and many Chumash hope its natural superpowers will continue to heal for generations to come. For CBS Saturday Morning, Elise Preston along California's Central Coast.
It's gorgeous. You've been there, right?
That was my first market, and it's remarkable, that coastline, that they can connect both of those bodies of water for generations to come, hopefully.
I was just on the Gulf of California for a story. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite places in the world. It's just amazing.